And you know what that is? That is the opening tune to the Brian Hornback Experience. This is episode 185. 185, coming to you from the Old Forge Distillery Podcast Studios. And that was Gasoline Invertebrate off their Project Crash and Burn. And Burn and Burn. They got a new project, a new EP that's just been released. Was released this past week, I believe. Have not had a chance to listen to it, but as you know, the guy that is over that group gave me permission to use "Move to Knoxville" as my intro and outro, and I'm happy to do so. You didn't catch that in that segment of the song. It says that more fertilizer comes from Tennessee than anywhere in the world. So anyway, it's been about a week and a half since I've been here with you on the Brian Hornback Experience. Been doing a lot of stuff. We're still getting ready to roll to a new .com. BrianHornback.com will still be there. Obviously, we have some security certificate issues with BrianHornback.com, so we're launching a new .com. But BrianHornback.com will mirror the new .com, and you will know all about the new .com when we launch it, okay? But that's what's been going. So behind the scenes, I have now gotten every video of the Brian Hornback Experience on BrianHornback.com on the pages, okay? So when you go to BrianHornback.com, look at the top banner up there where it says home and about Brian Hornback. You'll see a tab that says the Brian Hornback Experience video. If you go to that, it is updated all the way through episodes 184. So you can see what the header was on that particular podcast. If it was a guest, it'll say guest first, and then it'll go into the other part. And so all of those are uploaded there for you. So I hope you'll go check that out. As always, the YouTube page is growing and growing and growing. It's amazing. Y'all just amaze me at this overnight sensation of 21 years, almost 21 years, not quite. But y'all amaze me with the readership, with the engagement through the podcast, with everything that BrianHornback.com does. Just keep it up. We got a lot of stuff coming up in the next in the next few months. We got City of Knoxville City Council elections coming up, but that's not what we're going to talk about right now. We're going to talk about what Governor Lee now has on his agenda. For those of you that know, we have 3 criminal court judges in Knox County. Division 1 is currently unoccupied, okay, because Judge Steve Sword, who served our community well as criminal court judge, has gotten elevated to the Court of Criminal Appeals for the state of Tennessee, and so that seat is vacant. I believe Division 2 is Hector Sanchez, and then Division 3, I believe, is Scott Green. Anyway, we have 3 criminal court judges, and so Sanchez and Green are still on the bench, but we currently have a vacancy where Steve Sword was, because, again, he got elevated to the Court of Criminal Appeals for the state of Tennessee. So good for him that he's gotten promoted, so to speak. And so that's good news. But just want to talk to you a little bit about what happened on June the 17th. June the 17th, the Tennessee Trial Court Vacancy Commission met here in Knoxville. I attended all 9 numbing hours, only numbing because the seats in the small assembly room of the City County building are not comfortable. They're not, okay? Anyway, so I attended that. There were 8 candidates, that applied, and in alphabetical order, they are, wow, here we go. Emily Abbott, she's a district attorney out of Anderson County, had been a district attorney in Sevier County before she went to Anderson. She'd been in Anderson for a while. J. Franklin Ammons, who's a was a criminal defense attorney here in Knoxville, went to work for the district attorney office a few years ago. Heather Good Inns, she also has spent a good amount of time at the Knox County District Attorney's Office, prosecuting child abuse cases. And then Kishana Lattimore, she is a public defender out of the 4th Judicial District of Tennessee, which is Jefferson County, Sevier County. But she lives in Knoxville. You have to live in the 6th Judicial District in order to apply, okay? So you got Lattimore. That gets us to 4 of them, right? I'm doing this by memory. I hope y'all are impressed. Ashley McDermott was next. And she's, again, another prosecutor out of the Knox County District Attorney General's office. And she, too, prosecutes child abuse crimes. After that, we had a gentleman named Wesley Stone. Many of you have heard of Wesley. Wesley has run for a criminal court judge, and he's been a finalist twice for 2 different judicial openings through the Tennessee Trial Court Vacancy Commission. A good man. He does a lot of criminal defense work, just a lot of good lawyer work, but he's in private practice. So Wesley applied. So now we're up to 6. So I got 2 more to go, right? So we got Nick Wallace, Nick Wallace. Nick has been in the federal, so he was from Knoxville. He's part of the Wallace real estate family. That really didn't come out a lot throughout the process, but the G stands for George, and he goes by Nick. He had gone to school in Auburn, and then went to law school. Got out of Auburn. It's an interesting story, so I'm going to tell it a little bit because I had a chance to sit down and talk to Nick, talk to several of them, but I had a chance to sit down with Nick. He's got an interesting story in the fact that that he went to law school at Auburn. Obviously, with his dad and his uncle having taken over the family business of Wallace Real Estate, he had thought about coming back to just do real estate, right? And so in like 2008, 2009, when he got out of college, as you know, the housing market, the real estate market bottomed out, right? And so he decided to go pursue some more education, and he went to law school. And he graduated and passed the bar, and he did a little bit of work there in Alabama, and then got into the federal court system in Alabama, and so we ended up in some defense work, in some defender work, and so several years ago, had the opportunity to come back to Tennessee, to Greenville and Knoxville. And so he does federal defense work. So folks who are charged with federal crimes, if they can't afford an attorney, as you know, hopefully you know the Miranda rights, then an attorney will be provided for you. And so he's part of what's called the federal defense or federal defenders. He's, I'm not at liberty to discuss cases that he's had, but he did have several of the January 6th folks that was in his application. And so, everybody that's charged with a crime, you're facing the opportunity, you're facing the real likelihood, the real option that you're going to go serve some time. I mean, look at Todd and Julie Chrisley, right? They got prosecuted to a federal crime, and they served several years. And so when you're charged, you have the right constitutionally to be defended, and you should have a vigorous defense. And we're beginning to hear now about a lot of people who have been sentenced, who are innocent, who didn't do the deed, so to speak, but they're still got sentenced, right? So the way our judicial system is operated, the blind justice with the scales. You have the prosecution on one side, and they do a great job doing what they do, but then you also have to have a defense. And if you can afford an attorney, fantastic. If you can't, then guess what? Our Constitution grants you the right to have an attorney provided for you. And so that's the great thing about our judicial system. It's not perfect, but it's damn near perfect. Anyway, so I got to know, and then also after Nick Wallace, Mary Ward, a private attorney. So again, this trial court vacancy commission met. There's 11 members on this body. 2 of them chose to participate but not ask questions. And that's based on former prosecutor Kim Helper, who's now since passed away. But anytime that something came up in her jurisdiction, and if she knew somebody, then she would, if she did not feel that she was conflicted, she would refrain from asking questions, but she would participate. So 2 folks on the 11-member commission were in similar situations. Alexander Waters, Knoxville attorney, great guy, felt like that he knew nearly everybody, probably everybody, and felt like that, he didn't need to ask questions, but that he would participate. Another gentleman on the trial court vacancy commission works for the district attorney in Anderson County, which is the same office that Emily Abbott is in. He too did not ask questions, but he did participate. So you had the opportunity for 9 people to ask questions. So think about that. You have 8 candidates. You have 9 people. First, they go through like a introduction section where one of those, well, there were 8 candidates, right? So 8 of the people on the commission were like a mentor. Mentor may not be the right word, but a sponsor, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, they had gotten to know their candidate beforehand. And so they helped to introduce the person and began the questioning. And then after they got done, then the other folks could ask questions. So needless to say, many of them took at least an hour or more. So that was interesting. And so I had watched this process. Let me back up and let you know that how I became aware of the Tennessee Trial Court Vacancy Commission was back during COVID. We've had some vacancies in Knoxville. I think I don't remember watching Judge Hickson's, but I remember watching when Chancellor Hagerty was appointed. I watched his. It was all virtually streamed. Okay, the first one out of COVID. Now the good news is the Tennessee courts, tennesseecourts.org, they stream all the criminal court, Court of Criminal Appeals, the Court of Appeals, which is the Circuit Court Appeals Court, Supreme Court. They live stream all that on YouTube, okay? So you can watch a lot of that on YouTube. But the first one out of COVID, when they decided not to televise the Tennessee Trial Court Vacancy Commission, was when Secretary Sanchez was selected. And so they had it at an Embassy Suites here in West Knoxville. I was working. I didn't take the time off because I thought it was kind of creepy to be at a hotel motel. Just saying. But I have a lot of friends that went, a lot of folks that watched it, at least portions of it. So when the trial court vacancy committee announced that they were going to do this on June 17th for Judge Sword's position, it was announced it would be at City County Building. So City County Building is where I watch a lot of governmental meetings, both in person and via live stream. And so I felt comfortable doing that. So it was just kind of weird as we got up to that process. I thought that Diet Mountain Dew was nearly empty, and it's nearly not empty. So I got a lot to drink before bedtime. So a lot of these candidates have been contacting me and just want to talk, and I think it's because many of them know that I've watched these processes. I'm not an attorney. I've never been to law school. Never attempted the bar exam. Well, you got to graduate law school first. So, but I am on the state executive committee for the Tennessee Republican Party. I've been around in politics for about 40 years. And so I met with many of them and just talked to them and just said, hey, just be yourself. And I did review many of their applications, all their applications, and just said, hey, look, here's where you're strong. Just emphasize that and you're going to be fine. Again, I got to know some of them that way. But once the trial court vacancy commission got done with the process, what they do is they vote by ballot. It's not a public ballot. It's a private ballot. Don't blame them for that. And so you got to get 6 votes in order to be recommended to the governor. On the first round, both Emily Abbott and Franklin Ammons got 6 votes, so they were in, okay? And then on the next ballot, the other 6 were on the ballot. And so after that 6, then Mary Ward was eliminated. So then you get down to 5. And then on that ballot, they eliminated Wesley Stone and Nick Wallace. Okay. So then you get down to just Heather Enns, Lattimore, McDermott. Okay. And then Enns was eliminated. So then you got down to Lattimore and McDermott. And so ultimately, what ended up happening was Lattimore got 6 votes to then be one of the 3 that will go to Governor Lee. So Governor Lee now, since June 17th, he has some time to talk to all 3 of these folks. Emily Abbott, prosecutor out of the Anderson County, I believe that's the 5th Judicial District. Franklin Ammons from the 6th Judicial District for the Attorney General, and then Kashana Lattimore, who's a public defender out of the 4th Judicial District. So Governor Lee will now interview those 3 individuals, and then he will make a decision, okay? And then whoever he chooses will become the Knox County Criminal Court judge on the bench for Steve Sword. Then they're going to have to run May of 2026 in whatever party they align with, and also then run in August in the general election, facing if there's an opponent in the opposite political party, right? Interestingly enough, Emily Abbott, Franklin Ammons, solid Republicans. No question whatsoever. Lattimore's interesting in that, I think the Tennessee Trial Court Vacancy Commission, I think they assume that everybody in East Tennessee is a Republican. But when I looked at Lattimore's voting record, she is a solid Democrat. She's never voted Republican primary. She's voted Democrat in every primary that I don't know that she's voted in every primary, but in every primary that she has voted in, she's voted Democrat, right? So she's a solid Democrat. So if Governor Lee were to appoint her, then he's appointed someone who more than likely come May and August of 26 is going to run on the Democrat ballot. I don't see her running as a Republican when she has a Democrat voting record. Plus, there's always the potential that even if the governor appoints her to the position of criminal court judge, and she were to pull a petition for Republican, there's a possibility that the party could say, no, you're not a Republican, and could strip her of that ability to run as a Republican. More about that later. But anyway, so Governor Lee's got an interesting decision on his hands. I wanted to walk you all through kind of the process that I saw, because it's the first time that I've watched it with everybody in the room. I mean, when you watch something live stream, you kind of see it, but you only see what the camera allows you to see. And so this was my opportunity to really watch it. It was interesting in that the daily paper didn't bother to show up. No other media was there. I was it. And so that was real interesting. But I think we have two solid candidates in Abbott and Ammons. I know that one of our local papers, the Knoxville Focus, has already editorialized by its publisher that Ammons should be the one to get it. You know, I rarely really endorse somebody unless it's Justin Biggs for Knox County Trustee, which, by the way, that campaign is kicked off. We're doing really well. And looking forward to that campaign in May of 26 on the Republican primary. But everybody else, you know, we just try to give you the information about what everybody's history is, what everybody's position is, and let you make that decision. Okay, so that's the Brian Hornback experience. That's the BrianHornback.com and thefuture.com position. Obviously, any of those candidates that want to use our forum to help get their campaign message out, we're happy to offer them advertising. It's more economical than any advertising that they're going to buy anywhere in East Tennessee. So we're happy to do that. But I just want to keep y'all updated on that. Judge Kelly Thomas from out of Maryville, he's a retired judge from the Court of Criminal Appeals, has been filling in for Judge Sword's docket. From what I understand, his time is limited in the fact that they will only allow him so many hours, and so he's worked really hard since Judge Sword ascended to the Court of Criminal Appeals bench, and so his time's kind of limited. So again, we're kind of looking at Governor Lee to hopefully meet with these three folks, make an informed decision, and give us a criminal court judge in Knox County in a relatively near future. Hey, again, hope to be back on here in the very near future. Like to be back on here before July 4th. Look for all of our activity on BrianHornback.com, on the Facebook page, and on Instagram potentially. Going to be at the Farragut 4th of July parade with my boss, Justin Biggs, and a plethora of people. So we'll be doing some videos and that kind of thing before the parade, and then during the parade, I'll be walking and spreading the good word about how we've made the Knox County Trustee's office better than it's ever been before. All right, it is the Brian Hornback Experience. Thank y'all for tuning in. This was episode 185. We're going to break that 200 before the summer's over. See y'all.
It probably takes a couple days to get down to Knoxville.